Hey guys, this video we'll be using the game simulator Gran Turismo to learn how to drive faster, and here are some things that we'll do. First, you want to look at, here is the gear selector, the speed. You don't really care too much about your speed, but you care more about your gear, what gear you take the turns in. Just for reference, so you know, these green lights, for those of you who've never been in a race car or are still new to driving, the lights that are flashing are the RPM lights, and they turn on when you're ready to shift your gear. When this bar reaches the max, that's your revolutions per minute, or RPM, and it tells you how many times your engine is turning per minute. So in this case, the engine is turning 7,000, 6,000 revolutions per minute. So when the engine is turning, usually in higher RPMs, cars make more power, especially race cars and especially cars with turbos. In the lower RPMs, usually trucks or cars that are NA make a little bit more power at times, but most race cars make more power in the higher RPMs. So you always want this bar to be as high as possible, and you can do that by when you're on the turns, you can tap the gas or hold it smoothly, but make sure that don't let that bar go too down. If it goes too low, you got to downshift. So if you look at my times here, I got a 56 and a 57. So the time is going down, and we expect it to go lower and lower as you're racing. This is good practice to get faster, is doing time trials by yourself, just racing alone. It's you versus yourself, and that's a good way to get faster. Instead of racing against other people, you get to focus more on driving and how you're supposed to take these turns. So when you're driving, notice how I start on the left side when it's a right turn. If you look at the map, it's a right turn coming up. I start on the left, I cut in through the middle almost, or did touch that cone, and cut back out on the left. That one was a little bit slow because you want to come out turning the steering wheel the least possible and hitting the gas as hard. So you got to hold the gas a little bit and push fast here. Right here, start on the opposite side, cut in through the apex, and that was pretty slow as well, but we're still in the course, we're in the race. Right here, start on the left for that right turn, cut in, almost touch that cone, and come out where the other cone is. You can use cones or other markers in the road to help you learn when to brake and stuff. Like on these cones, you can start braking there when you see them, and use references on the road to help you remember when to brake and stuff like that. You usually don't want to hit the gas until you can see the exit of a turn, because then you don't want to go off into the wall, right? You hit the gas too early, you'll understeer and go into the wall. So hopefully these times get faster. That's the goal, right? It's for these times to get faster. So that one the fastest one was the third lap, then we ran a 57. But a lot of times it's just getting used to the car, getting used to the road and other things. So once you get used to the car and you calm down and relax, everything should run better. One thing I've always did since I was a kid, since I didn't really know the courses or how to drive, I look at these black marks on the road and I follow them. So that helps me to know where I should start, where I should brake hard, and what turns to take. Also, sometimes you see these on the road and you see where people went off the road. So time's still at 57, so they're kind of stagnant there. But if you look, the times are pretty consistent, and you want to aim for consistency and to also get better all the time. So we're on the road. Remember, slow is faster than crashing. So never really drive 100%. You gotta always hold back a little bit until that final lap, because you don't want to crash and end up not finishing the race, breaking your car or something. So pay attention to the gears. I go in, this is the slowest turn, so I take it in first, you can hear the engine. The higher you hear the engine rev, when you hear it go na 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 na, that means the RPMs are higher. When you hear it like take a little breather like airplane, then that means I just shifted or I'm in neutral. And you want to be smooth as possible, but obviously when you're going 100 miles per hour, it's a little bit hard to be super smooth, right? Or when you get excited. But still, you want to be as smooth as possible and find the shortest distance. Always touch the apex. And if you're wondering what these red and white things are for, they also are little extensions to the road that you can use, like in this case, because if these wheels touch the grass, you're most likely gonna spin out. But if they touch these red and white markers, nothing will happen. So use those to your advantage. They make the road wider, and you can use them to get an advantage and get more turning space. Always start on the outside, cut through the inside, end up on the outside again, hitting the gas full throttle, and that's good. If you end up on the red and white bumpers on these, that means you're probably driving pretty good. You don't want to drive off-road too much like that, because the car doesn't really get traction on the dirt. This isn't an all-wheel drive car, at least I don't think so, and it's not an off-roading car. But also, you also do always want to know what kind of car you have, whether it's front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, or MR, and you want to make sure that you're driving the correct style for the car you have. It's very similar, but it varies from car to car, and also with weight and different power. So right here we beat our last time of 56 by a full half a second more, 600 thousandths, 700,000. So that's good, and let's see if we can get faster and faster. So right now we're pretty fast, but we're drifting a little bit too much. Drifting is not as fast as gripping, but it sure does look cool. And sometimes when you're trying to drive fast, you will end up drifting even if you don't want to, especially as your tires wear out, or if you have a low rated tires on a very fast car, then those tires would just spin. So here we go right here. We almost got this. I think we can beat this time. We're getting more consistently lower times. Always try to brake a little early on these turns after straightaways, because it's really easy to miss your distance, lock up the brakes, and go straight into the wall. So right now, still driving pretty slow, turning way too aggressive, turning in too early, not utilizing the full track. That was pretty good, but we went a little bit too off. And remember, you don't want to come out. You're turning the steering wheel at the end of a turn. That's not good. You want your wheels to be straight, like right here. That was pretty good. Almost straight, you know. I'll show you how. Like that's okay. That's okay. We're setting up for the next turn. Hopefully we get a good exit out of a corner here. I'm really driving very sloppy, taking the turns very slow, but it's also okay for you know, I haven't been playing this, and I'm not used to these cars or anything, so that's not too bad. Let's see what kind of time we get here. Oh, and a 55, so that was the fastest so far, although it didn't seem like it. But now we just gotta come out of these turns faster. You want to come out pushing it to the limit. If you come out with a little bit of extra space to turn the steering wheel, or you know, you gotta turn extra hard, or you know, you gotta hit the brakes at the end, you didn't come out fast. Coming out fast means you can't turn the steering wheel anymore, you can't gas it anymore, yet you came out on the very limit of the road. And let's see if we could do a proper exit on one of these. I keep doing these really bad exits on this turn before the straightaway, but it's also because you guys don't see this, but I was racing my Ghost, so I was trying to overtake my Ghost by braking late, and it was working. Um, Braking early or braking late depends on what turn is coming up. So right here, let's say you have a lot of consecutive turns, you can brake very late. Cut straight through the first two and then just brake very late. It's a pretty bad line, but because you can brake late, this line allows you to set up for the next turn. Come in here, take a proper line, come out kind of fast. Right here you don't have to brake at all, just let go of the gas a little bit. Brake hard here, turn. I turn in too early, it's a bad habit. Now that I'm older, I'm getting used to the late apex. But that one had an okay exit. Still not exiting at the limit though. We could be coming out way faster. Let's see what the time is on this one. This turn looks pretty fast. Came out a little bit better. And that was our best time yet. So we're down to 55. And you see the times just get better and better. So after about 12 laps or so, time's consistently reducing from 57 to 56 to 55s, and that's how you get better at driving, more consistent, safer, and slowly get faster. You just got to keep doing it, keep getting to know the track, and guaranteed your times will get better. Sometimes they'll get a little worse, but they'll also get better. And just keep trying out new things, keep experimenting, and don't give up on a lap. Sometimes it seems like a lap's gonna be slower, but at different points in the race you can be ahead or behind. It's all about exit speed and entry speed as well. So sometimes you could go into a turn slower but come out faster, so don't be discouraged. I think this is where the times start getting worse. So from right here, I'm probably gonna end this video, but I'll show you one or two of the worst laps. And you always keep an eye on your gear when you're driving. If you drive in automatic, just focus on the steering, braking, do the out, in, out, start on the outside, opposite side, cut in, touch that inside, touch the outside. Now in real life driving on the freeway, I don't recommend touching the outside of the road because there's a lot of trash and things that can give you a flat tire, but in other places like the racetrack or in racing simulators, you can always use that extra part of the track even during braking. Sometimes you don't want to touch grass though. It's good. It can make the car lose a lot of control, especially when you're gassing or braking on it. It could make you go into a drift. And these red and white bumpers, they give you more grip, so use them. It's a little bit of extra space, kind of cheating practically, but as long as you stay within the cones and the racing within the track, you should be okay. This game, Gran Turismo, this is sport. It's brutal on the track boundaries, but I think in real life, as long as you have one wheel inside the track, you're good to go. And as long as you're not cutting significantly through the track, you should be okay. Yeah, go ahead and try it out. Do 10 laps, don't just do one and think you're slow. Keep racing until you improve, and that's how you get better, racing against yourself. It's an important life lesson too. Sometimes you just got to compete against yourself in order to improve instead of competing against others. So there we go. Let's shut off the car and have a good one, guys.